Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. So I'm back with the different video. So it is very interesting. So for like we have to ETL the data from the S3, then we have to create the table inside the AWS GLUE, then we can visualize the data. So you can see I'm going to create the bucket inside the S3 like S3 glue Athena demo bucket. So in this bucket we have to create the two different directory, like one would be raw and second one would be clean data, right? So in the raw directory we have to put the raw data inside the raw directory. So yeah, so let's create this directory first. So you can see that directory has been created with the S3 glue Athena. So let's go inside the bucket and let's create another two different directory. So as I discussed, like first of all we have to create one of the raw data directory. Let's create it. Let's create another directory with the clean data. We are creating the directory with the default one. There is no any encryption we are enabling. Yeah, the both different directory has been created. Yeah, it is, you can see those are created successfully inside the S3 glue Athena bucket, and there is no data. So what I'm trying to do, let me show you one of the, I have one of the CSV file. So you can take as a, it is a raw data, like there are 9 columns. Let me open it so you can see that. Yeah, so you can see there is 9 columns. So our target is we have to remove some of the uh, columns which is not required for us. So first off we have to take the default table, like the default file with all the columns, and after that we have to ETL and we have to remove some of the columns. Then the ETL data, the clean data, we can load into the different table using the glue. Then we can visualize using the Athena. So let's upload it into the raw data directory. Yeah, let's click on add files and we have to select that CSV files that is inside my download directory. So yeah, let's click on that and let's click on upload it. Yeah, that file has been created. So, that file has been uploaded into in my bucket raw data directory successfully. So let's here to create the roles, IAM roles. So let's create the role, because role is required, because while creating the like the table, it will try to access the data from the S3 bucket. So we have to create the role so that user has the access to create that. So let's select the glue service. So let's take a next. I selected glue, then I clicked on a next. So you have to take two policy here. One is S3 full access, so that the user can able to read and write the data inside the bucket, S3 bucket. Let's take another policy for the glue, because we need require the glue privilege, glue permission to create the glue table inside the glue database. So I selected two roles, glue service and glue full console full access. Then I click on next, and you can give any name. So but as for the demo I'm giving the different name, like a hyphen s3 glue. But you can give the name as per your requirement, it can be anything. Yeah, so there is no any restrictions to give the name here. So as for your convenient, you can enter the name here. So let's create the role. So you can see there is two policy has been attached and the role has been created in our console. So this role has been created successfully. So let's go to the glue consoles. I'm trying to open with a different tab because we have to use all the components like glue s3 and im role multiple times. So I'm opening with a new different tab. So in, let's check if there is any existing database or table or exist or not, so we can clean it. So I just click on the tables, and if you go to the tables you can see there is the old table is exist. So let's remove it, so that people cannot be confused whether it is the existing table or the new table. So I'm trying to remove it from here. And let's go to the database also. If the, you can see that the demo db is already exist, that is not required, so we can remove it. Let's create two db. One is the clean and the second one the raw. So I'm creating the raw db, and let's create another db like the clean, so we can define it properly, right? So I created two different db. So now we have to say create the, you can see that there is no table, so I have to create the crawler. So yeah, also there is existing crawler is present, so let me remove it. Yeah, add the crawler. So I can give any name, but yeah, as for the name convention, I'm giving the raw S3 clue because I'm trying to put the I'm trying to create the table using the raw data. So let's create all the table, all the folders, and you have to define like the I have put my files inside the raw directory. So let's select that directory from the S3 bucket. Yeah, make sure you have to select the directory, not the file. Yeah? So I selected the directory here, and let's click on next. Let's take a default one. I have the existing IAM role, so I'm selecting my role, like whatever the role I have already created, like S3 Glue Athena. I selected that. Then I have to click on next. If you want to schedule, you can schedule here, but we have to do the first time. So you have to select the my DB, and you have to click on next, so that the table will be created inside the raw data directory. So let's click on finish. And once created the crawler, we have to run it. So it will be it will identify your data, and it will determine the columns. So it will take some time, and so that we have to take a pause here. It started, but the till the table is not created. Yeah, it is in the process now. So we have one table, one file inside the bucket, so it should be created one table. If you put two files, then it will be created two tables, right? So we have only one file over there. Yeah, you can see one table is created inside this. Here is the crawler details. So if you want to see the crawler details, like you can see that, but you have to check the table whether it is created or not. If I go to the table, just refresh it. Yeah, you can see it is created. And if I open it, then I will see all the column name, like whatever the column names I have already show in the Excel file. You can see all the column names are determined by the crawler, and it has been created the table inside the database. It is the blank one, there is no any data. So in order to put the data inside the table, I have to create the jobs. So yeah, there is the existing jobs, so let's remove it. Let's remove all the existing job, then we can create the new job. The existing job are removing. You can see, let's create the new job here. So I can give the name like, raw S3 glue, and you have to select the IM role, like S3 glue Athena. But you can select that Spark or Python, but I'm taking the default one. And here if you have the existing code, you can select that, but I don't have any code, so I will select the default one. And yeah, you can keep all the default option here. If you want to change the path or script path, you can change it so that the temporary data can be stored inside those buckets. But yeah, for now the timing, I am keeping the default one. Yeah, here you can see all the details are here. If you want to increase the workloads or worker loads, and if you want to change any name here, you can change it. But as I told you, for the testing perspective, we are not changing anything. So by default, we are going with the default one. Let's click on next. So we have our source is data, raw data. So you have to select it. Next. Then click on, there is, first of all you have to take the default one, so there is nothing to change, just need to click on next. No, but our target is we have to store inside the table here, so you have to go back and you have to select the different options to create the table in our data target, right? Our target is the database, so you have to select the first option. So let's select the first option here. Yeah, let's click on next. Then we can save and check the script. So it is done. So now we have to run the job. It will take some time, and once completed the job, then we can try to analyze the table using the Athena, because Glue don't have the capability to see the table contents. So we can try to visualize and analyze using the Athena. So it has been completed. The job has been completed here. So now let's go to the Athena. Then we can try to check the data from the our table. Sorry, yeah, we have to select the Athena here. Yeah, for the first time we are creating the Athena, then maybe have to enable it. But yeah, as it is already enabled, directly we'll create the Athena editor, query editor. So here you have to select the data source. Data source is the default one, and you have to select the DB name, and DB name is raw data. And yeah, and before you can see the table also is showing here. Table is raw data is here, it is showing now. And before running the query we have to go to the settings, because whatever, because it will work on the top of the S3, right? So you have to check and change the S3 bucket. My data is inside the S3 glue Athena demo directory bucket, so you have to select that and we have to click on save. And what after saving the options, then you have to go to the editor, and we can just verify whether the table is existing or not. So I have to run the command show tables. So I click on that. You can see it, one table is showing here. So let's get confirmed, because the table was already showing in the glue, but we need the actual data, whether it is existing or not. So you have to run the command like the select star from the table name, like limit 5 or limit 2. You can run anything. Yeah, you can see all the columns are existing here, because I told you in the next, in the when I create the next table, then I will clean the data. But for time being, it is the default one. We have not removing any columns here. Yeah, so data is showing here in the raw data. So our next target is the, also, yeah, before going to ETL the data, just check how many row are exist inside the my tables. If you see the count of the data, it is around 17 1473 8 something. So let's go back to the glue section, glue, and create. So what we have to do, we have to create that, we have to ETL the data now. So I have to go to the jobs, AWS glue. Then you have to select on the job legacy, the default, that is the default one. So let's select that. Then yeah, there is the existing job. Yeah, job is exist, that is for the raw data. So let's select the new job here. So you have to tell the data, the from the raw data. Yeah, click on the art job. So you can put any name like clean S3 data, and you can select the existing role, and we can take the for the timing, we can take the default. But if you have the any modified, or you have already customized script, you can take that. But the time being I'm taking the default one, because I'm not expert in the coding part, so I'm taking the default one. And our source is the raw data, so let's select it. Yeah, So here we have to you can change the schema, or you can find the matching the records, and you can see if you want to remove the duplicate record, you can remove it. And if you want to increase or decrease the worker, also you can do that. But my requirement to ETL the change data, so I click on the change the data. So let's select the raw data here again. So I have to click on next. We have to go back because our requirement is to remove some of the columns, so I have to select the first one. Our data store would be S3, and you can store the ETL data like in the CSV format or Ebro or Parquet or ORC. But I select the CSV one, so I'm not doing the compress. And you have to select the path in which you want to store the clean data. So I have the another directory which is the clean data directory inside the bucket, so I selected that. Then I have to click on next. Let's get next here. Yeah, that in the next section you can see in the, yeah, you can see whatever the column is not required, you can just remove it. So I'm removing some of the column here. You can see that I'm keeping only the four columns. So let's save it, save the job and edit the script. Yeah, the script. And yeah, so the script is ready. So let's run the job, and it will take a while to complete it. So in the meantime, we can just wait, let it complete. And if you want to see the script, all the details who are expert in the code, you just need to copy this all the whole script, and you can paste in the notepad. And if you want to learn from the script, you can learn from the script also. So you can see here I'm trying to store the data inside the clean data directory. After clean the data, we can store inside this output, that is the clean data directory in the bucket. Yeah, the job has been completed. So let's go to the S3 bucket, and we can see inside the clean data directory whether the clean data is present or not. The clean data directory was empty earlier. So let's check. Yeah, inside the clean data directory, you can see the data is cleaned and it is stored inside it. So data is clean, but how we can confirm? So we can confirm by the Athena. And before going to Athena, we have to create the table because table is not created with the clean data. So let's go to the crawler and add crawler. Let's create like the clean S3 glue. Then I have to click on next. Yeah, just click on next. Our data directory inside the clean data. So select the clean data directory. Let's click on select. And once selected that, then you have to click on next. So here you can take us next because we don't have another data store, and you have to select the existing IAM role. Then you have to click on next. Yeah, we have the different DB, the clean DB. So you have to select the clean DB to create the clean data table inside this database. Let's click on next. Click on finish, and then you have to run the crawler. It will determine the data, and as for the data, it will create the columns accordingly. So it will take a while to complete it. Yeah, so you can see one table is created on behalf of the clean data. So let's go to the table and see whether it is created or not. Yeah, here is just refresh it. You can see the clean data table is present, and here you can see only the four column is showing because of the rest of the column we have already removed in the uh, while it till the data, we have already removed the old columns like the unwanted columns. So that is not present here. We have only the four columns here. So to visualize the data, to analyze the data, so we have to go Athena. Then Yeah, just go to settings. If that bucket name is different, you can change it. But our data is inside the subdirectory of inside the same bucket, so you can keep it as it is. So let's go to the editor, and we have to select the different DB, like the clean DB. Then you can see there is the table is already present, like the clean data table is already present here. So let's try to count the data from the table. See, earlier it was around 1478 records is inside the table. So let's check here. So you can see only the four columns are showing here, because the rest of the columns we have already depreciated that. We have already removed that, because those are not required for as for the business requirement. So we have already cleaned that. And let's count the record from the table. Yeah, you can see 1478 row is already it is present. So data count is same as compared to raw and the